The message arrived while nothing important was happening. No argument. No warning. Just a vibration against a kitchen counter that had already been wiped clean. He noticed it, registered the name, and kept doing what he was doing. Some part of him assumed it would still be there later, unchanged. It was. The voice didn't sound wrong at first. That was the unsettling part. Same cadence. Same pauses. But arranged differently. Like a room you've walked through for years with one wall quietly removed. He didn't interrupt it. He stood still, hand resting on the edge of the sink, listening to a version of his life that had apparently been running in parallel. When it ended, the house didn't react. No sound. No shift. The dishwasher continued its cycle. He went upstairs eventually. She was already asleep. The next morning unfolded normally. Coffee. Schedules. A brief conversation about nothing that mattered. He watched himself respond in real time, noting how easy it was to participate without understanding. Days passed like that. Nothing broke. That should have been comforting. It wasn't. He began noticing how often certainty relies on habit. How rarely people explain what they assume will never be questioned. He didn't ask questions. He let things continue long enough to see their shape. At work, he was efficient and distracted. At home, attentive in a way that surprised even him. He remembered details. He listened carefully, not to catch her, just to understand the version of events she believed was intact. There was no dramatic turning point, just accumulation. A late arrival explained too quickly. A name mentioned once, then avoided. A shared account that required more clicks than expected. Each detail on its own meant nothing. Together, they formed a pattern he couldn't unsee. He considered saying something. Imagined how it would sound. Every version felt premature, like closing a file before reading the last page. So he waited. Waiting changed the balance in ways he hadn't anticipated. The longer he knew without acting, the less reactive he felt. The situation didn't grow smaller, but it grew clearer. When she suggested hosting something, a celebration, a marker of stability, he agreed before considering why. The decision surprised her. It surprised him too. Plans were made. Invitations sent. Music chosen. He handled the logistics she didn't care about. She focused on appearances. As the date approached, he noticed how often people mistake calm for ignorance. On the night everything finally aligned, he stood in a room filled with familiar faces and realized something quietly decisive. Whatever happened next wouldn't fix anything. It would only reveal it. And that, he understood now, was the point. The first week, he operates on autopilot. Morning routines don't change. He still wakes before the alarm, showers while the coffee brews, checks his phone while standing at the counter. The message sits in his voicemail list between a dental reminder and something from his mother he hasn't returned yet. He doesn't delete it. He doesn't listen to it again either. She asks if he slept well. He says yes. She mentions a meeting running late today, maybe don't wait on dinner. He nods, already mentally calculating what that timeline actually means now that he's listening differently. Their daughter eats cereal without looking up from her homework. Normal. The kitchen smells like toast. Also normal. Everything continues exactly as it should, which makes the wrongness harder to locate. At work, he sits through a presentation about quarterly projections. Someone asks his opinion. He gives one that sounds reasonable. Later, he realizes he has no memory of what he said. His colleague notices. You good? Didn't sleep great. The lie comes easily. He's surprised by that. That night, she's home before him. Dinner is already started, something in the oven filling the house with garlic and warmth. She's cheerful, tells a story about someone at her office who said something ridiculous. He laughs at the right moment. While she's setting the table, he opens his phone, scrolls past the message without touching it, looks at her contact instead. The photo is from 2 summers ago, before anything felt misaligned. He closes the app. Can you grab the wine? She calls from the kitchen. He does. They eat together. Their daughter talks about a field trip. They discuss permission slips and whether she needs new shoes. The conversation has texture, weight. It feels real in a way that makes everything else feel theoretical. After dinner, he loads the dishwasher while she helps with homework at the table. He can hear her voice, patient and focused, explaining something about fractions. The same voice from the message. Except not the same. Different recipient. Different purpose. He closes the dishwasher harder than necessary. You okay? She asks without looking up from the worksheet. Fine. Tired. Later, in bed, she reads beside him. He pretends to do the same, but the words don't arrange into meaning. He's aware of her breathing, the small shifts as she turns pages, the warmth radiating from her side of the mattress. She reaches over at some point, squeezes his hand briefly. A casual gesture, reflexive intimacy. He squeezes back. When she finally turns off her light and settles into sleep, he stays awake longer. Not thinking exactly, just existing in the space between knowing and doing, where nothing has been decided yet. The room is dark. The house is quiet. Everything remains intact. He doesn't know yet that this is the last week that will feel accidental. He starts keeping a notebook. Not immediately. Not dramatically. It begins with a receipt he finds in the console of her car when he's looking for parking change. A restaurant he doesn't recognize. A date that doesn't match any conversation he remembers. He photographs it, puts it back exactly where he found it. The notebook itself is small, unremarkable. He buys it at a drugstore along with toothpaste and batteries, so the purchase looks incidental. He keeps it in his desk drawer at work, underneath a stack of manila folders no one ever touches. The first entry is just the date and location from the receipt. No commentary, no accusations, just facts arranged chronologically. The second entry comes 3 days later. She mentions running errands after work, comes home 2 hours later than the route would require. He writes down the timeline, the store she claimed to visit, the shopping bag she brought in that contained only one item. He doesn't ask about the discrepancy. He notes it. At home, he becomes unusually attentive, offers to handle tasks she normally manages herself. Can he pick up her dry cleaning? Does she need him to swing by the bank? She seems pleased by this, calls him thoughtful. He smiles and says it's nothing. What he's really doing is creating opportunities to see her patterns up close. The dry cleaning receipt shows items dropped off on a Tuesday. She told him she worked from home that Tuesday. He writes it down. The bank statement arrives. He opens it before she gets home, photographs 3 pages, reseals the envelope carefully. Later, cross-referencing with his notebook, he finds 2 ATM withdrawals from a part of town she has no reason to visit. He doesn't feel angry yet. That surprises him. What he feels is methodical. Their daughter asks why he's been so quiet lately. They're driving to soccer practice, just the 2 of them. The question catches him off guard. Just busy with work stuff, he says. She accepts this easily. He wonders if she's noticed anything about her mother. That weekend, they attend a birthday party for a friend's child. She's animated, laughing easily, touching his arm when she talks to other couples. To everyone watching, they're fine. Better than fine. She introduces him with affection that sounds genuine because maybe some part of it still is. He watches her watch him, realizes she's tracking whether he's tracking her. On the drive home, she asks if he had fun. He says yes. She seems satisfied, reaches over and turns on music, something upbeat that fills the silence between them. Their daughter falls asleep in the back seat. He glances at her in the rearview mirror, then at his wife's profile against the window. 2 versions of the same life running simultaneously, neither one entirely false. Monday morning, he adds 2 more entries to the notebook. A name she mentioned casually at breakfast, someone from her book club, that doesn't appear on any of the group emails she's forwarded him before. A phone call she took in another room, voice lowered, ending with laughter he heard through the wall. That afternoon, he misses a meeting. His assistant has to reschedule. He apologizes, says he got caught up in something urgent. That night, she asks if everything's okay at work. He tells her it's fine, just demanding lately. She nods sympathetically, says she understands. He believes she does understand. Just not what. The notebook grows thicker, not with explanations. Just timestamps and locations and names that appear, then disappear, then reappear in patterns he's starting to recognize. He hasn't decided what he's building toward, only that he's building something, and that each day he waits, the structure becomes more solid. She kisses him goodnight. He kisses her back. The notebook stays at the office, facts accumulating in the dark. The 3rd week, he starts seeing timelines instead of days. Thursday evenings, she's consistently late. Not wildly. 30 minutes. Sometimes 45. The reasons vary. Traffic, a coworker needed help. She stopped for groceries she forgot to buy. But the pattern holds. Thursday. Every time. He writes it down without circling it. The page does that itself. At a dinner party, someone mentions a new restaurant downtown. She lights up, says she's heard great things about it. He remembers the receipt from her console. That restaurant. 5 weeks ago. We should try it, he says. Definitely, she agrees. The couple hosting asks if she's been. She hesitates for less than a second before saying no, but she's heard the reviews are incredible. He watches the hesitation more than the lie. On the drive home, she talks about how nice the evening was. He agrees. Their daughter sleeps in the back seat again, head tilted against the window. The streetlights pass in rhythm. You've been different lately, she says suddenly. His hands tighten on the wheel. Different how? I don't know. Quieter maybe. More. She trails off, searching. Present. He almost laughs. Is that bad? No. It's nice actually. She reaches over, rests her hand on his knee. I like it. He doesn't move her hand. Doesn't respond. Just drives. That Sunday, he volunteers to handle the finances. She's always managed them. Her preference, her system. But he suggests they should both understand the full picture, just in case something happens. Responsible adult thinking. She thinks it's morbid but sweet. Sends him logins and passwords via text with a string of skull emojis. He spends Monday evening going through statements line by line. The shared account is clean, predictable. Mortgage, utilities, groceries, school expenses. Nothing unusual. But there's a personal account he's never had access to. Listed on the tax return, technically joint property, but she's always called it her fun money account. He's never questioned it before. The password she sent him doesn't work for that one. He doesn't ask about it. He writes down the account number and moves on. Tuesday, he mentions casually that he's thinking about updating their life insurance. Does she have all her policy documents accessible? She says yes. Everything's organized in the filing cabinet. He can look whenever he wants. He waits until she's out with their daughter. The filing cabinet is exactly as organized as she claimed. Color-coded folders. Labeled tabs. Alphabetized. Under insurance, he finds the policies. Under statements, he finds older bank records. He photographs 20 pages methodically, making sure each one goes back exactly as it was. One statement from 8 months ago shows a wire transfer. $5,000. To an account he doesn't recognize. The memo line is blank. He photographs it twice to make sure it's clear. That night, she asks if he found everything he needed. He says yes, thanks, very organized. She seems pleased. They watch a movie together after their daughter goes to bed. Something she picked. He doesn't track the plot. He's thinking about the wire transfer, the Thursday pattern, the restaurant receipt, the name from the book club that never appears anywhere else. She falls asleep on his shoulder. He can feel her breath, steady and warm. The movie continues without them. At work the next day, he opens the notebook, creates a timeline on a fresh page, dates down the left margin, events across, lines connecting things that happened within days of each other. The pattern isn't complete, but it's visible now. Thursday nights, unexplained absences, money moving quietly, a name that keeps appearing in the gaps. He sits back, looks at what he's built. Still no anger, just recognition. Like solving a puzzle he didn't know he was working on until the image emerged. His assistant knocks on the door. He closes the notebook. Meeting in 5, she says. I'll be right there. She leaves. He sits a moment longer, staring at the closed notebook. Then he stands, straightens his tie, and goes to explain quarterly projections to people who believe numbers always mean what they appear to mean. That evening, she's home on time. They make dinner together. She tells him about her day. He listens carefully, noting what she includes and what she doesn't. Their daughter sets the table without being asked. Everything feels ordinary. He's beginning to understand that ordinary isn't the opposite of wrong. Sometimes it's just a place where wrong learns to live comfortably. The hardest part isn't the knowing. It's the acting like he doesn't. They go to a school fundraiser together. She wears a dress he complimented once 2 years ago. He notices she's noticed he's noticing. The exchange happens in seconds. Wordless, a small smile acknowledgement that used to mean something uncomplicated. At the event, they're approached by other parents. Conversations about college savings plans and whether the new principal is an improvement. She stands close to him, touches his back when she laughs. They look, he realizes, exactly like what they're supposed to be. Their daughter performs in a choir piece. They record it on their phones from slightly different angles. Later, they'll compare footage, Decide which one captured her solo better. That routine hasn't changed. In the car afterward, she mentions her sister might visit next month. He asks which weekend. She says she'll check and let him know. Normal logistical This was a good weekend, she says. It was. I feel like we're in a good place. Don't you? He considers the question. Thinks about the notebook. The patterns. The wire transfer. The Thursday nights. The name that keeps appearing. The message he still hasn't deleted. Yeah, he says finally. I think we're exactly where we need to be. She squeezes his hand. Believes him completely. He lets her. Monday morning, he leaves work early. Says he has a doctor's appointment. His assistant doesn't ask what kind. The law office is in a building downtown he's passed hundreds of times without noticing. 13th floor. Quiet hallway. The kind of place that doesn't advertise. The attorney is younger than he expected. Professional without performing it. She offers coffee. He declines. What brings you in today? He's prepared for this. Practiced it mentally. But sitting here, the words rearrange themselves into something more difficult. I need to understand my options. She nods. Pulls out a legal pad. Start wherever makes sense. He doesn't show her the notebook. Instead, he summarizes. Timeline without emotion. Facts in order. She writes occasionally, but mostly listens. When he finishes, she sets down her pen. You've been thorough. Is it enough? For what? The question catches him. He realizes he hasn't articulated that part yet. I don't know. Whatever comes next. She walks him through scenarios. Division of assets. Custody arrangements. Timelines for different processes. She doesn't use the word divorce. Neither does he. They talk around it using technical language that makes everything sound procedural. Do you have joint accounts? She asks. Most things, yes. I'd recommend opening a separate account. Transfer your portion of shared savings. Not hiding anything. Just protecting what's legally yours before things get complicated. He writes this down. How much does she know? About you knowing? Nothing. Keep it that way for now. Document everything, but don't change your behavior. People tend to move assets when they sense trouble coming. He nods. Thinks about the wire transfer from 8 months ago. Wonders if she was following the same advice. The consultation lasts 45 minutes. She gives him her card. Tells him to call when he's ready to proceed, or if anything changes that requires immediate action. In the parking garage, he sits in his car for a long time before starting the engine. That evening, he's home before her. Normal routine. He makes dinner. When she arrives, she's in a good mood. Talks about a project wrapping up successfully at work. He asks questions that sound interested because they are. He wants to know how she compartmentalizes. What the mechanics look like. Thursday, he makes another appointment. This one with an accountant his colleague recommended. Someone discreet, his colleague said. Someone who understands complicated situations. The accountant's office is smaller. Less formal. She's older, efficient. Asks questions he hasn't considered. Retirement accounts? We both have them. Beneficiaries listed? He hasn't checked recently. She makes a note. Any assets in her name only? A few things. Her car. That separate account I mentioned. You'll want records of deposits into that account. Pattern of contributions. If there's a pattern of siphoning joint funds, that matters. He thinks about the wire transfer. How far back should I look? As far as you can access without it being obvious you're looking. The conversation continues like this. Clinical. Strategic. He leaves with a list of documents to gather and a timeline for review. Friday afternoon, he makes one more call. This one from his car, parked in a grocery store lot 3 miles from his office. The investigator sounds tired. Probably fields calls like this all day. When he explains what he needs, confirmation, documentation, something that removes doubt, the voice on the other end becomes more alert. How specific do you want me to be? I just need to know I'm not wrong. Most people who call me aren't. They discuss logistics, timing, cost. The investigator explains what's legal, what's not, what falls in between. He's done this before. That much is clear. How long do you need, he asks. 2 weeks. Maybe 3. Depends on her patterns. She's consistent. That helps. He agrees to the terms. Provides the information requested. Hangs up feeling like he's crossed a line he can't uncross, though he's not sure which specific action constituted the crossing. At the grocery store, he buys ingredients for dinner. Something she mentioned wanting earlier in the week. He remembers now. Adds extra items she didn't ask for, but will appreciate. At home, he cooks. She arrives while he's halfway through. sees what he's making, and lights up. You remembered. Of course. She wraps her arms around him from behind, rests her chin on his shoulder while he stirs. The gesture is familiar. Casual intimacy that used to be thoughtless. What did I do to deserve you? She says lightly. He doesn't answer, just keeps stirring. Later, after dinner, after their daughter is asleep, after she's settled into her routine, he checks his email. The attorney has sent a follow-up message. Standard language. Timeline expectations. Next steps outlined clearly. He saves it in a folder labeled Insurance on his personal laptop. The irony isn't lost on him. That night, he dreams about houses with rooms he's never entered. Long hallways that keep extending. Doors that open to spaces that don't match the exterior dimensions. He wakes once, disoriented, reaching for context. She's asleep beside him. Same position she slept in for years. Same small sounds. Same person. He closes his eyes and waits for morning. The investigator's email arrives on a Tuesday. Subject line, update. No details. Just a request to call when he has privacy. He waits until lunch. Drives to a park he's never been to, 20 minutes from the office. Calls from the parking lot overlooking a playground where other people's children are screaming with uncomplicated joy. I have what you need, the investigator says. No preamble. How bad? Depends on your definition. Consistent is probably more accurate than bad. The investigator walks through findings. Thursdays. A specific address. Duration of visits. Patterns spanning 7 months, possibly longer. Photographic evidence. Timestamps. Vehicle registrations. A name he already knows from the notebook. Do you want the full report now, or send it? Digital or hard copy? Both. Give me until end of day. He sits in the car after hanging up. Watches children navigate playground equipment designed to keep them safely off the ground. Everything engineered to prevent falling while creating the illusion of risk. That evening, she suggests they host something. Not immediately. Next month maybe. An anniversary party. Their 15th. She's been thinking about it for a while, she says. Something nice. Their closest people. Maybe catered. What do you think? She's excited. Animated in a way that reads as genuine. Sounds good. Really? You're sure you're up for hosting? Why wouldn't I be? She smiles. Kisses him. I'll start planning. Over the next week, she creates lists. Guest list. Menu options. Music playlist. She asks his opinion on details that don't matter. Linen color, appetizer variety. He weighs in thoughtfully. She seems pleased by his engagement. He watches her build the structure of an event designed to celebrate permanence. The investigator's report arrives via courier. Thick envelope. He signs for it at the office, takes it to his car before opening it. The photographs are clearer than he expected. Time-stamped. Sequential. Arriving. Leaving. Hours in between collapsed into evidence. He doesn't feel shocked. He feels confirmed. That night, he files the report in the same folder as the attorney's correspondence. Emails the investigator confirmation of receipt. Adds a note to his calendar for 3 weeks out. 1 week before the party. She asks if he's remembered to invite his college friends. He says he'll reach out tomorrow. She's satisfied. The next Thursday, he comes home earlier than usual. Not dramatically, just 30 minutes. She's not there yet. Their daughter is at a friend's house. The empty house feels expectant somehow, aware of its own waiting. She arrives 55 minutes later, slightly more rushed than usual. Apologizes immediately. Work ran long. She looks flushed. Not upset, just slightly undone. Have you eaten? He asks. Not yet. Have you? No. Want to order something? They order Thai food. Eat it on the couch, while watching something neither of them tracks. She seems tired. He suggests she take a bath. Relax. He'll clean up. She kisses his forehead. Thank you. While she's upstairs, he clears containers. Wipes down counters. Feeds the information into the part of his brain that's been cataloging everything. 55 minutes. Flushed. Tired. Grateful. Saturday, she shows him the invitation draft. Elegant. Simple. Their names at the top. Date and time. RSVP details. She's already compiled addresses for mailing. Can you look through the list? Make sure I didn't miss anyone. He reviews it carefully. Recognizes most names. Pauses on 2 he doesn't know. Who are these? Friends from book club. I thought it would be nice to include them. They've heard so much about you. He nods. Hands back the list. Looks complete. She orders the invitations that afternoon. Pays extra for rush processing. They'll arrive in 2 weeks, she says. Plenty of time before the party. The attorney calls Monday morning. He steps outside to take it. How are we proceeding? She asks. The party is in 3 weeks. After that, a pause. You're sure about the timing? Yes. Okay. I'll need a few days' notice to have everything ready. You'll have it. He goes back inside, sits through a meeting about budget reallocation, contributes something useful. His manager commends his focus lately, says he seems really on top of things. That week, RSVPs start arriving. Most people can make it. The event is taking shape. She's energized by the logistics. Spends evenings coordinating with the caterer, confirming rentals, updating spreadsheets. He helps address envelopes, his handwriting next to hers, their names written repeatedly across cream-colored paper. An assembly line of social confirmation. Thursday evening, she's late again. 48 minutes. He stopped timing consciously. The number just registers. She arrives with flowers. For the party, she says. Sample arrangement from the florist. What do you think? They're beautiful. White roses mixed with something delicate he doesn't know the name for. Perfect, he says. She puts them in a vase. Steps back to admire them. I want everything to be perfect. It will be. She believes him. Why wouldn't she? He's been nothing but supportive. Engaged. Present in all the ways she asked for months ago when she said he seemed different. That night, he lies awake after she's asleep. Thinks about the party. The guests. The moment things will shift. Not dramatically, just clearly. The flowers are visible from the bedroom doorway. White roses catching ambient light from the street. Already cut. Already dying. Just slower than anyone notices while they're still beautiful. 2 weeks before the party, the invitations arrive. She opens the box at the kitchen table, slides one out carefully, holds it up to the light like it might reveal something beyond ink and paper. They're perfect, she says. He agrees. They are perfect. Professionally printed. Their names centered. A small decorative flourish he doesn't remember approving but doesn't object to. She starts addressing them immediately. Works through the list methodically while he makes dinner. Their daughter does homework nearby. The scene could be a photograph titled Family Evening. Nothing in it would suggest otherwise. Remember the Chin's party last year? She asks without looking up. Vaguely. This will be better. More intimate. He plates food. Sets it down in front of her. She pauses her work to eat, but keeps the invitation list visible. Returns to it between bites. That weekend, they mail them. She drives to the post office specifically instead of using the mailbox on their corner. Wants to hand them to someone. Make it official. On the drive back, she's quiet. Content quiet, not worried quiet. He recognizes the difference. What are you thinking about, he asks. Just happy. This feels like a good milestone. 15 years. That's real. It is. She reaches over. Squeezes his knee. The gesture has become more frequent. Small touches that anchor her to a version of events that feels stable. Monday, the first RSVP arrives. Her college friend. Can't wait, the note says. So happy for you both. She texts him a photo of it at work. He replies with a thumbs up. She sends back a heart. That week, she finalizes the menu with the caterer. Shows him options. He picks between things that all look equivalent. She treats each choice as significant. Writes everything down. Thursday, she's late. 39 minutes. When she arrives, she's carrying fabric samples. For the tablecloths, she explains. They had more options than I expected. They spread them across the dining table. She asks his opinion. He points to one. She nods, says that's the one she was leaning toward too. The samples stay on the table for 2 days before she returns them. He walks past them multiple times. Each time, he thinks about timing. About how much can happen on surfaces designed to hold other things. The second week, RSVPs arrive in clusters. Yes. Yes. Maybe. Yes. One no, with apologies. She updates her spreadsheet. Shows him the count. 32 confirmed. That's perfect for the space. Good turnout. People are excited. Everyone loves a celebration. He makes a sound of agreement. Their daughter asks if she can help with anything. She assigns her small tasks. Folding napkins. Choosing a playlist. Testing dessert options. Their daughter takes it seriously. Treats it like a project. One evening, she asks why they're having a party when it's not actually their anniversary for another 2 months. Sometimes you celebrate a little early, her mother says. When the timing works better. Their daughter accepts this. Goes back to scrolling through music options. He watches the exchange without commenting. Saturday, 1 week before the party, they do a walkthrough of the house. She points out where things will go. Tables here. Bar set up there. Seating arranged to encourage mingling. We should move this, she says, gesturing at a bookshelf. They move it together. The room looks different. More open. Ready for something. Better, she declares. That night, she can't sleep. He feels her restless beside him. Finally, she speaks into the dark. Are you nervous? About what? I don't know. Hosting. Having everyone here. Should I be? No. I want it to go well. It will. She's quiet for a moment. You've been so supportive about this. I know planning parties isn't really your thing. It's important to you. It is. She shifts closer. Thank you. He doesn't respond. Just lets her settle against him until her breathing evens out. The next morning is Sunday. 5 days until the party. She makes lists. Confirmation calls. Checks details that have already been checked. He mows the lawn. Trims hedges. Makes the exterior look maintained. Neighbors wave. Comment on the nice weather. Ask if they're having people over. He says yes, small gathering. Monday, he leaves work early again. Different building this time. The attorney's office. She has documents ready. Papers that formalize dissolution. Asset division. Custody arrangements. Everything they discussed, now concrete. You're sure about Friday? She asks. I'm sure. It's your call. But once things are public. I understand. She slides the documents into an envelope. Hands it to him. Call me Saturday. We'll move forward from there. In the parking garage, he sits with the envelope on the passenger seat. Thinks about the difference between knowing something and making it known. How much space exists in that gap? Tuesday, the caterer confirms final head count. She forwards him the email. Everything's set, she writes. Can't believe it's this week. Wednesday, she takes the day off work. Spends it preparing the house. He comes home to furniture rearranged. Decorations placed strategically. Flowers in rooms that don't usually hold them. What do you think? She asks. It looks great. She walks through each room with him. Points out details. Explains her reasoning. He listens. Agrees. Affirms her choices. Thursday evening, she's home on time. They order pizza. Eat it with their daughter. Talk about school, upcoming plans, ordinary things. Later, after their daughter's asleep, she sits beside him on the couch. One more day. You ready? I think so. Are you? He looks at her. Really looks. She's hopeful. Excited. Completely unprepared for the shape tomorrow will take. Yeah, he says. I'm ready. Friday morning arrives with clear skies. She wakes early. He hears her moving through the house. Checking things. Adjusting details. When he comes downstairs, she's already dressed. Makeup done. Hair styled. Too much, she asks. You look nice. She smiles. Goes back to her list. The day passes in preparation. Food deliveries. Rental company setting up tables. Florist arriving with arrangements. She orchestrates everything. He stays available. Helpful. Exactly where she expects him to be. By late afternoon, everything is in place. The house looks transformed. Ready. Their daughter tries on 3 outfits. Settles on the second one. She's excited. Asked if her friend can come. Her mother said yes. At 6, she changes into her dress. The one she bought specifically for tonight. New. Elegant. She does a small turn in the bedroom. What do you think? Perfect, he says. She kisses him. Thank you for this. For everything. Of course. At 6:30, the doorbell rings. The first guests. She takes a breath. Smooths her dress. Looks at him. Here we go. He nods. She opens the door. The living room fills efficiently. Couples arrive in waves. Familiar faces. Friends from different eras of their life together. Her book club. His college roommate. Neighbors they've known for years. Everyone dressed slightly better than necessary. She moves through the room easily. Accepts hugs. Laughs at appropriate moments. Introduces people who haven't met. She's good at this. Always has been. He stays near the kitchen. Accepts handshakes. Answers questions about work. Someone asks how it feels to hit 15 years. He says it's been a journey. They laugh. Agree. Say something about how time moves differently after marriage. By 7:30, most of the guest list has arrived. The caterer circulates with appetizers. Someone turned the music up slightly. Conversations layer over each other into comfortable noise. Their daughter moves through the crowd with her friend. They take food from trays. Disappear upstairs. Reappear. Normal. At 8, she taps a glass. The room quiets gradually. Thank you all for coming, she starts. Her voice is warm, practiced. It means so much to have everyone here. People smile. A few raise glasses. 15 years is, she pauses. Looks at him. It's real. It's choosing each other every day, even when it's not easy. Someone says, here. I just want to say that I'm grateful. For this life. For these people. I need to add something, he says. The room shifts slightly. Not alarmed. Just attentive. She looks surprised, but not concerned. Gestures toward him. Of course. He doesn't move from where he's standing. Pulls out his phone. Opens the folder he prepared yesterday. I want to share some context, he says. About what we're actually celebrating tonight. A few people exchange glances. Still casual. Curious. He begins with the message. Plays the first 15 seconds. Her voice. Different tone. The room recognizes it immediately. Sound designed for privacy, now public. He stops it. The silence that follows isn't empty. That arrived 4 months ago, he says. Thursday evening. While I was doing dishes. She's frozen. Face changing in real time. What are you? I'm presenting information. He swipes to the next item. A photograph. Time-stamped. Her car outside an address. This was taken 3 weeks ago. Thursday. One of 27 Thursdays documented between August and now. Someone near the door shifts. Uncomfortable. He continues. Bank statements. Screenshots. Dates cross-referenced. He doesn't explain. Just shows. Moves through them methodically. Wait, she says. Voice rising. You can't just. I'm not finished. Her friend from book club tries to say something. He doesn't acknowledge it. Swipes to the next image. Wire transfer. $5,000. 8 months ago. The memo line blank. This went to an account belonging to, he names the person. Several guests recognize it. One makes a sound. He continues. Phone records show 412 calls between that number and this one over the same period. She's moving toward him now. Stop. Please. Not like this. He doesn't stop. More photographs. Entering. Leaving. Timestamps showing gaps measured in hours. The investigators report, clinical and thorough. Text message logs recovered through account access she gave him voluntarily when he said he wanted to understand their finances better. You can't do this, she says. She's crying now. Not quiet crying. The kind that disrupts breathing. Everything I'm showing is documented. Verified. Most of it uses access you provided. Her college friend stands. This isn't appropriate. Neither is what's documented. He swipes again. Calendar overlap. Dates, she said she was at work compared to building access logs he requested last week, claiming he needed them for tax purposes. Discrepancies highlighted in yellow. Someone else stands. Moves toward the door. Others follow. She's reaching for his phone. He steps back. She stumbles slightly. Her sister catches her. How long have you known? Her sister asks quietly. Long enough to be certain. The room is emptying faster now. People grabbing coats. Mumbling excuses. The social mechanism activating. Distance creating itself. She turns to the remaining guests. He's making this look, it's not. But no one's asking for her version. They're leaving. The caterer has stopped circulating. Standing in the kitchen doorway. Watching. His college roommate approaches. Do you need anything? No. You're sure? I'm sure. The roommate nods. Leaves. Within 10 minutes, the house is mostly empty. A few people remain in clusters. Speaking in low voices. Not to him. Not to her. Just processing among themselves. Their daughter appears on the stairs. Her friend behind her. What's happening? He looks at her. Then at his wife. Your mother and I need to talk. Can you stay upstairs for a bit? But, please. She goes. Reluctantly. Her friend follows. Now it's just them. And her sister. And 2 people he doesn't know well who seem uncertain whether leaving or staying is worse. She's sitting on the couch. Hunched forward. Her dress that looked perfect an hour ago now seems wrong. Too formal for grief. You did this on purpose, she says. In front of everyone. Yes. Why? He doesn't answer that. Just looks at her until she looks away. Her sister speaks. What happens now? He pulls out a different envelope. The one from the attorney. Sets it on the coffee table. These are separation documents. Everything's outlined. Asset division. Custody schedule. You can review them with your own attorney. She stares at the envelope. Doesn't touch it. I'm filing Monday. That's 3 days. Yes. One of the remaining guests stands. says something apologetic, leaves. The other follows. Just the three of them now, and their daughter upstairs, and the house still decorated for celebration. Her sister picks up the envelope, opens it, scans the first page. You've been planning this. I've been responding to what already existed. By humiliating her, by making it known. She stands, unsteady. I can't be here right now. It's your house too, he says. No, I can't. She looks at her sister. Can I? Of course. They leave together. Quick gathering of essentials. Phone, keys, purse. No conversation. Just movement toward exit. At the door, she turns back. I didn't mean for. I know. She waits like there's more to say. But nothing comes. Her sister guides her out. The door closes. The house becomes extremely quiet. He stands in the living room surrounded by half-empty glasses and abandoned napkins and flower arrangements that cost extra because she wanted everything perfect. Upstairs, a door opens. Footsteps. His daughter on the landing. Is Mom coming back? Not tonight. Are you? She stops. Starts again. What happened? He looks at her. Sees her trying to construct narrative from fragments. Trying to understand what just collapsed the evening. Come down, he says. We should talk. She descends slowly. Sits on the bottom step. He sits beside her. Your mother and I. The sentence doesn't have an end that fits. Things are going to change. Because of what you showed everyone. Because of what was already happening. She's quiet. Processing. Where will she live? I don't know yet. We'll figure that out. Where will I live? Here. And with her. We'll work out a schedule. More silence. Then, did you know this would happen tonight? Yes. Why like that? He doesn't have an answer she'll understand yet. Maybe not for years. Because it needed to be clear. She nods. Doesn't look at him. Her friend is still upstairs. I'll call her mom. While he makes the call, his daughter stays on the step. When he finishes, she goes back upstairs without speaking. He begins cleaning. Mechanically. Glasses collected. Food wrapped. Tables that need returning tomorrow. The work continues past midnight. At some point, his phone vibrates. Her sister. She's staying with me. Don't call tonight. He doesn't respond. By 2 a.m., the house looks almost normal. Just missing people. Missing the version of life that existed 8 hours ago. He lies down in bed fully clothed. Doesn't sleep. Just exists in the space between action and consequence. Morning will bring lawyers. Questions. Logistics. But right now, there's just the house. And what's left in it. And the certainty that nothing resolves cleanly. Monday morning, he files. The courthouse is exactly what courthouses are. Fluorescent lighting. Forms in triplicate. A clerk who processes his paperwork without expression. She's seen this before. Does it several times a day, probably. You'll receive confirmation within 3 business days, she says. Service of process will follow. He nods. Takes his copies. Leaves. At work, he's 20 minutes late to a meeting. Apologizes. No one questions it. He wonders what they've heard. Who's connected to whom? How information moves through networks designed for other purposes. His assistant brings coffee without being asked. Sets it down carefully. Let me know if you need anything. He thanks her. That afternoon, the attorney calls. The paperwork is filed correctly. Now they wait for her response. Typically 30 days. Sometimes longer. Has she contacted you directly? The attorney asks. No. Good. Keep it that way. Everything goes through attorneys now. He agrees. Ends a call. Returns to spreadsheets that require his attention for reasons he can't quite remember. Tuesday, his daughter refuses breakfast. Says she's not hungry. He doesn't push. Drives her to school in silence. At pickup, her teacher asks to speak with him. They step aside from the carpool line. She's been quiet today. Not participating. Is everything okay at home? He considers how to answer that. Settles on. We're going through some changes. The teacher nods. Understanding without details. Let me know if there's anything we should be aware of. For support. I will. His daughter doesn't ask about the conversation. Just gets in the car. They drive home. She goes straight to her room. Wednesday, her attorney makes contact. An email to his attorney. Formal language disputing several points in the separation agreement. Asset valuations. Custody schedule. Spousal support calculations. His attorney forwards it with a note. Expected. Will respond by Friday. He reads through the disputes. Most are procedural. One catches his attention. She's requesting majority custody, citing his work schedule, his travel requirements, his unavailability. He calls the attorney. Can she do that? She can request anything. Doesn't mean she'll get it. Your documentation of involvement with your daughter is strong. School pickup records, medical appointments, parent-teacher conferences. You've been present. What I need to do, keep being present. Document everything. Save communications. He writes this down. That evening, he helps his daughter with homework. Math problems that require showing work. She makes errors. Erases aggressively. The paper tears slightly. It's okay, he says. It's not. I keep messing up. Everyone messes up. She looks at him. Did Mom mess up? The question is direct. Uncomfortable. He chooses his words carefully. People make choices. Sometimes those choices hurt other people. Did you hurt her? I think so. Not the way she hurt me. But probably yes. She goes back to her homework. Doesn't ask more. Thursday, a bank letter arrives. Joint accounts have been flagged. No funds can be moved without dual authorization. Standard procedure during dissolution proceedings. He calls the bank. Confirms. They explain the rules. He listens. Adjusts his understanding of access accordingly. That afternoon, his phone rings. Unknown number. He answers. This is Mitchell Chun. I'm representing your wife. I have an attorney. I am aware, but I wanted to reach out directly. Sometimes we can resolve things more efficiently. Everything goes through my attorney. I understand. But in the interest of your daughter, especially that. Pause. Noted. We'll proceed formally then. The call ends. He texts his attorney. Her lawyer called me directly. Response arrives immediately. Don't engage. I'll handle it. Friday, her sister calls. He doesn't answer. She leaves a voicemail. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but she's struggling. Really struggling. I'm not asking you to fix it. Just, she's my sister. I had to say something. He doesn't delete it. Doesn't respond either. That weekend, his daughter goes to her mother for the first time. Temporary arrangement. Saturday afternoon through Sunday evening. He packs her bag. Makes sure she has everything. Do I have to go? It's important to spend time with your mom. What if I don't want to? You can tell me that. But you should still go. She's picked up at 2. Her mother doesn't get out of the car. Just waves from the driver's seat. Her sister is there too, sitting in front. His daughter looks back at him before getting in. He waves. She waves back. The car pulls away. The house becomes very quiet. He spends Saturday reorganizing, throwing out things from the party, returning rentals, removing decorations, making the house look like it did before. Before the party, before the planning, before the message. Sunday drags. He tries to work. Can't focus. Watches television without processing it. Makes dinner he doesn't eat. His daughter returns at 6. Quiet. Goes straight to her room. He lets her. An hour later, he knocks. Okay to come in? Yeah. She's lying on her bed, staring at the ceiling. How was it? Fine. Just fine. She cried a lot. Her apartment is small. Aunt Rachel was there the whole time. He sits on the edge of the bed. That sounds hard. She kept saying she was sorry. Like a lot. It got weird. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Is she going to be okay? The question isn't really about her mother. It's about whether life returns to predictable, whether things stabilize. Eventually, he says, everyone adjusts. Do you hate her? He thinks about that. No. Why not? Hating someone takes energy. I'd rather spend it on other things. She processes this. Do you still love her? I don't know. That's honest. I don't know. She nods. Accepts it. Monday, he receives the formal response to his filing. 38 pages. Counterproposals. Disputes. Alternative custody arrangements. Financial calculations that don't match his. His attorney schedules a call for Tuesday. They'll need to respond within 2 weeks. That night, his daughter asks when things will be normal again. He doesn't have an answer that's both honest and comforting. I don't know, he says finally, but we'll figure it out. She seems unsatisfied. He doesn't blame her. Upstairs, later, he finds a voicemail from her sister still saved. Listens to it once. Deletes it. Some things require response. Others don't. The distinction matters, even when it's not clear why.